IIM Shillong commenced its journey in 2008, being the 7th IIM of the country. We are the only Indian Institute of Management in the Northeast, which gives us additional responsibility. In the bounty of nature is the entire Northeast India. Easily could be termed as one of the world's most beautiful landmarks. Hence, the beautiful products weaved out of the handlooms here leave a very clear sign of the beauty of Northeast. Since the pandemic impacted the world, economy has taken a back seat because we are all very conscious of saving our lives. As the Prime Minister said, Jaan or Jahan. Lots of workers from the Northeast who are earning their livelihoods from different parts of the country have returned home. In this situation, handloom sector can be primed up to boost the economy of the entire region and generate employment. What it needs is requisite intervention in terms of finance, appropriate technological introduction, creation of some brand identities, forward and backward integrations, above all, logistic support. With these few words, a very hearty welcome to all of you, especially to Manniya Mantri. Jai Hind.
With immense pleasure, I would now like to introduce and invite Dilip Baruaji, a passionate textile technologist turned technocrat. He studied textiles, export, and marketing management from renowned institutes. With his 37 years of practicing nuances of textile industries across the globe and being the founder of Fabric Plus, he is committed towards improving the quality of downtrodden lives, reducing poverty, empowering women, and elevating social unrest by employing rural youth. Fabric Plus is the largest commercial producers of Eri and Muga silk. It features as one of the most organized handloom setups in India and has played a pivotal role in promoting the traditional handloom fabrics of Northeast India. Sir, we request you to address the audience. Thank you.
Namaskar. Honorable Minister of Textiles, Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, dignitaries, panelists, respected guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Really, we will be a part of this symposium and of such an important topic. We have age-old handloom industries and the largest number of weavers, population in the country. Numbers are big. In fact, the biggest, 1.2 to 1.4 million handloom weavers in the region. Potentially, it can generate an estimated revenue of more than 18,000 crores collectively in a year. That is something really like a real growth engine or a prospective growth engine for the North. It's an estimate, just as Professor Katoti had mentioned, average production of our handloom in this region is just 1 meter, and with the composition or elements of silk of the region, this 1 meter is worth 1,000 rupees per meter. Even if we produce 1 meter a day, 25 days in a month, 50% utilization of total installed handlooms in the region, it has a potential to generate about 18,000 crores. In the year 2018, Handloom Export Promotion Council has organized an Exporters Award in Chennai. and we were also one of the recipients, in fact, the only recipient of the Exporters Award from the Northeast. And in our concluding note in that award function, he categorically mentioned that we have, or Northeast have, more than 1 million of weavers population, and she could see only one exporter from the Northeast, whereas states like Haryana, UP, South, they have a few thousands of weavers and weavers, and they take hundreds of awards. So it was so much realizing that, yes, one exporter out of million of weavers versus many exporters from a population of less than or just about 1,000 handloom weavers. This has opened our eyes, and since 2018 we have been trying to increase the number of exporters, and we are taking it as key performance indicator for our company, and we feel proud that we have, in a small way, we have at least facilitated small-time exporters from the Northeast. Now, if we go beyond the question, one from the Northeast, finding the answer to this question should be the beginning of our roadmap in the Northeast. Roadmap for the Northeast to transform handloom sector as an important economic growth engine. The components, if we compare with the exporting states like Haryana, UP, and our region, we see, which we are practicing now in Northeast also to some extent, we see they have linked or bridged craft with commerce. Craft alone was difficult to commercialize an art. We have best example of Indian khadi. Today's khadi products are no more typically or purely khadi products as it used to be 50, 70 years back. It has inducted intermediate technology so that work has become smarter, quality has improved, productivity has improved, the feasibility has improved. Same way, our company's roadmap began with the forgotten Assamese proverb or Dakor Boson. We call it Dakor Boson. Toir pani eril tani means very silk fabric is as good as the buttermilk. We can say as healthy as buttermilk or chas. But we have never used these proverbs as our market promotion. Tough space to semi-commercial space that has enabled us to impact greatly more than 3,300 crores in 10 years in our case. Business model to follow, I strongly recommend that we follow Panipat, Haryana, which are the biggest handloom hubs of India. They have structured handloom sector so well that they are the pioneer. India's 90% export is from Haryana. Let's study the model. Local for vocal, the only way to survive. We have enough local to make them vocal. Eri silk Eri and Muga silk are like monopoly of the North. We also should have Tator Haat like thing, like we have Delhi Haat in the Northeast. Empower government institutions like NESTC, NISTC, which can play much better roles. Most important, introduce special incentive scholarship to the students from premier institutes like IIM Shillong to join handloom sector. Young talents are in need of the time. We all are in desperate situation. Desperate situation needs desperate decisions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your rich experience and expertise with the handloom sector. Your emphasis on participation of community and capacity building. Surely look forward to your continuing support to our center's policy research. Now, with immense pleasure, I would like to request you for the next speaker, Ms. Janabi Fukan. She is the 37th National President of FLO, the Women's Wing of FICCI. She is the first FLO President from India's Northeast and was a founder vice chairperson of FLO Northeast chapter in 2007. She works passionately and tirelessly for women empowerment and towards building sustainable livelihoods for women economic upliftment. She is an entrepreneur and co-founder of 2 National Tourism Award-winning companies, Jungle Travels India and Assam Bengal Navigation, under the JTI Group. Her companies are in travel and tourism, long-distance river cruising, hospitality, tea and textiles, all of which touch women's lives and livelihood. Ma'am, I request you to please share your experience and ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for having me here. It is an honor for me to present my little platform. The president of FLO, first president to represent FLO chat. The oldest women's chamber of commerce in South Africa. We are trying to handhold weavers and to the market outside. There will be more of us to have a great value chain and take our people forward as well. So in the Modi ji, his address to the nation has announced Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, a self-reliant Bharat, and to be local, vocal about local. And that really resonates with the handloom and the agriculture industry that the women are involved in. And Gandhiji had said that a country remains poor in wealth, both materially and intellectually. It does not develop its handlooms, its handicrafts, and spinning represents the hope of the masses. So in such times, we must appreciate all the more independence, and that will move our economy forward. We need to conserve our resources, utilize the strength of our young people, respect our weavers and respect our farmers, and move together towards a sustainable future. And the Mahatmas will ensure that nobody is left behind. Thank you. Jai Hind.
The tradition in the Northeast, tradition in Assam is different from the rest of the country because here this is tradition. And almost every household has a loom. And the cultural expression of a community or a tribe is demonstrated by the different motifs that are there in the fabric. So it's extremely rich. And it has survived for centuries because it is so linked to culture and to tradition. Interestingly, it is something which is not caste-based. Weaving in the Northeast is not confined to a particular caste, it's universal. And more than 90% of the weavers are women, whereas in other parts of India it is essentially men. Because it is traditional, it is also another activity that people engage in, so it is not exactly commercial. So per loom production of Assam is roughly, or in the Northeast is about 1 meter per individual, whereas in the rest of the country it is above 5 meters, so there is a lot of scope for commercialization. Some of the varieties that are found in this part of the country, such as Muga, the golden silk, more than 80% of the world production is from the state of Assam. So also with Eri or Endi and other forms of silk. The motifs of the tribes in and around the Northeast are exquisite, they are distinctive, and they are very, very amazing. A lot of vegetable dyes are used, which are in great demand. The colors and the motifs are different. So it is a traditional strength that we have, and I'm sure following this symposium, we will be able to ensure that this becomes the growth driver for the Northeast, because post-COVID, there is a disruption of the economy. A lot of people have come back. So it is upon all of us, academicians, practitioners, and policymakers to come together and ensure that Assam becomes the growth engine for India, as envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji. We shall make it the growth engine, and handloom will be the sector that is going to determine this. Just like the Industrial Revolution in the West was built on the shoulders of the handloom industry or cell industry, Assam, the Northeast, and the other states, which together has more number of weavers than the rest of the country combined, can become the growth drivers for the economy.
I think you have the best expert sitting on this, and Vibhadev has done it successfully. So I think the question should be asked to her.
Yes.
With Konyak and Heirloom Naga, I think they are one of the successful ventures. I mean, in terms of taking the Northeast, taking handloom, Northeast handloom to the global platform. I mean, I just saw a few days ago. I'm hoping that Yasmina is also there. But I just saw one of the Heirloom Naga product in one of the Hollywood actresses' home recently. So the Naga handloom has reached Hollywood.
Wow.
we definitely have success stories here in the Northeast. I think what Dilip said at the beginning, and what he mentioned, is we need to look at this as a commercial venture more than the custom, culture and tradition. I mean, yes, we can maintain, and we should rather be proud of that. But we need to take it to the next level to make it the means of economic, independence of the households in the Northeast. That is where, to me, lies the challenge now.
Minister Ma'am is here with us.
Very good. Let's welcome her.
Yes.
A very hearty welcome. Honorable Smriti Irani ji, आपका यहाँ हार्दिक स्वागत. And we will not hold you back. In fact, the other speakers we have finished, and we would be really looking forward to hearing your address to us. Mantri ji, please.
Namaste, Shishir ji, how are you? I had the pleasure of listening to everybody while I was waiting to be conjoined with this conversation. And I think that I will take off from what Atul Kulkarni had to say about looking at it as a new prospect. I think far too long, the handloom legacy of our country has been romanticized with the element of poverty. And I think from a marketing perspective, we need to reposition ourselves and look at the larger consumption market. Today, when sustainability has become the buzzword, not only for manufacturers, not only for buying agents, not only for international chains, which actually can leverage the handloom opportunity or handcrafted opportunity. I think what Atul Kulkarni had said in the discussions that preceded my intervention I think is hitting the nail on the head. There has to be a systemic approach to how to make handlooms a better business opportunity. Yes, there is a semblance of pride in the handloom legacy of our country. Yes, the Northeast has a spectacular legacy, one may add, not only in handloom but also the handcraft segment. But what are the issues that ail the particular segment that we are today talking about? One is, how do we encourage more and more of our weavers to actually have a business plan and a pathway to success, which means looking at input costs, which means access to better credit, which means access to better design opportunities, which means understanding of IPR, which means understanding of how packaging is to be undertaken, which also entails how raw material and positioning of raw material in terms of branding can differ from one segment to the other. And I think that normally, and I heard the conversation about the kind of excitement, the input about how a Hollywood actress has a handloom legacy in one of their homes. I think that instead of looking at a minute segment which we seek to service, we need to look at our product range for a larger consumer base. And I also feel that there is a need to emphasize that we are looking not only at exports, but also one of the largest global consuming markets in the world, which is India. So how can we leverage our own market? How can we instill that pride in owning something which is handcrafted, which need not be extremely expensive, but yes, legacy pieces which have a design element unique to themselves will have that market. But how to capture a larger consumer base, I think institutions such as yourselves can add a lot of input to the support system that weavers seek. One of the biggest challenges that the weaving community also has, that the young of that community do not want to sustain this mode of livelihood, given they feel that their opportunities will be limited. And everywhere that technology has been infused, let's say in designing, we have seen a lot of the youngsters retain the craft. So how can we, with infusion of technology, entice the young to become producers of handcrafted goods? I think that is an area which a lot of your experts in the technical sessions can possibly speak on. The government as such, at the ministry level, is encouraging a lot of people to come together as producer companies. Now, one of the unsaid challenges of the sector is that people position themselves as master craftspersons, not necessarily producing the craft, but become the go-between between a market and the actual weaver. How can you break that system and encourage that individual weaver or set of weavers to come together and form producer companies? What we in the ministry are trying to do is to not only encourage weavers to come together and make producer companies, but also ensuring that they have access to credit like Mudra. We in fact have had studies done that post access to Mudra, a weaver's income increases by at least 50 to 60%, which means we need more and more research which can build credibility to such outreach programs. I also feel that institutions such as yourself, Shishirji, can help make case studies wherever weavers or weaving communities have ensured that they have bettered their manufacturing processes. The minute you use the term manufacturing, people presume there is an intervention by a machine. That manufacturing processes which have been traditional in nature get the kind of sanctity that research from an institution such as yours will be extremely beneficial for weavers not only in the Northeast but across the country. I also feel that given some of the best minds have come together today on this platform, it will be a great disservice if the handcraft sector, which has a beautiful legacy in the Northeast, is left out of the conversation. Why not use some of the best minds who have come together today to talk? Also look at the opportunities in the handcraft sector. Now we have handcrafted bamboo, we have wood-based handcraft, which is the pride of the Northeast. But do we have enough research which can help attract more investment opportunities, not only from within India but also international? Do we have an ecosystem where design inputs can come in not only from the Indian segment but also international? Do we have platform where fusion of designs happen, fusions of packaging happens? Now, apart from these two segments, Shishirji, I think that what is also something that can be leveraged in terms of the Northeast legacy is the raw material. Now, how many of us have created consumer awareness about Muga silk? How many of us have created consumer awareness given the sustainability aspect of eri silk? We, with the help of the industry, refashioned it as the Ahimsa silk. Given that Bapu is revered the world over, can we help the industry position itself using that template and increase consumer awareness about products made out of eri silk? Now, when you look at the consumer market today, given the impact of COVID on the economy, what are the essentials which a weaver or a craftsperson attaches themselves to will find a ready market? There are weavers who weave garments which are only related to festive buying. Can we encourage weavers and craftspeople to look at regular consumer needs and then attach them to those particular segments, not only from a design perspective, but also tell them where the emerging markets are domestically and internationally? I can today use this opportunity to speak about a special emphasis given by the Prime Minister for apparel manufacturing, and under the NRETPS scheme of the Government of India, we in fact set up apparel manufacturing opportunities across the Northeast in all states. In fact, in Assam, Factory Plus became the toast not only of the apparel industry in India, but also you had international brands leverage their association with Fabric Plus to ensure that stoles and scarves can be spoken about. But we know from experience that those are limited market segments. So I think today what the weaver can be extremely helped by is one, market intelligence, two, a continuous engagement. Are we setting the tone or are we following the tone of international markets? Now that will have a measure of confidence that is instilled in the weaver when they have access to this kind of data. So can we create, given technology today, an ecosystem where the weaver is not limited to market intelligence just when a festival is around the corner or an international marketing event is around the corner? For that matter, do weavers know which are the important buying platforms or sellers platforms to go to? Or are we waiting to be discovered in our village, in our zilla, in our state? So when I heard Atul Kulkarni, I was extremely happy that there has to be an aggressive business approach towards fundamentally strengthening our weaving community. That we celebrate their craft is a given. But true service to the weaving community is if we can strengthen their business process. And that is where I feel that IIM Shillong can play a very crucial role, especially for the weaving community in the Northeast. If you look at international tourism today, many want to not only buy a weave, but also live the experience. Yes. And that is where a lot of the young in the weaving community possibly explore ventures. Yes. So when I have seen elements of village tourism in Assam, in Meghalaya, can we curate weaving community-wise such tourism opportunities which become life experiences?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Our sincerest gratitude to you for your very enlightening and highly motivating speech. May I now request our respected Professor D.P. Goyal, Director IIM Shillong, to propose a vote of thanks to our panelists for this session.
Chief Guest of the Day, Ma'am Smriti Irani ji, Honorable Union Minister of Textiles and Women and Child Development, Inspector Shri Shishir Bajoria ji, Chairman BOG, IIM Shillong, Shrimati Janvi Phukan ji, National President, Flow, Shri Dilip Barua, Founder and MD Fabric Plus, Shri Atul Kulkarni ji, Member BOG, Professor Sen Gupta, Professor Kakoti, Professor Riddhi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. With extreme pleasure and delight, I would like to propose a vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have made it convenient to attend today's e-symposia with special emphasis on the handloom in the Northeast India, which is, as already told, the 4th e-symposia of the IIM Shillong e-symposia series on emergent Northeast India, strategic and developmental imperatives. Our sincere thanks goes to the nameless weavers of Northeast India who have not only been the ambassador of the culture and heritage of the region, but also its true custodian. For hundreds of years, these weavers have carried the knowledge of handloom by practicing it and also passing it on to the next generation. Once again, thank you all for your online presence and kind attention. Thank you once again, and please stay safe.